everybody, so today I am coming at you with a favorites video. It's not a monthly favorites video because I don't remember the last time I put up a monthly favorites video, but it is just a random favorites, a recent favorites, whatever you want to call it. So I have makeup, skincare, and then like movies and podcasts and shows and things, and I know I am going to get questions. I have a tutorial for this look. It is on my Instagram, so my Instagram is just at Kittysnack. There's an Instagram makeup tutorial which I've been really loving to do lately. So yeah, it is all using strobe cosmetics. They just came out with these glitters. Look how pretty they are. And then I used the Divinity palette for the rest of it, and I love strobe cosmetics. Just another favorite all the time. So anyways, this is just going to be a fun, relaxed video where I talk about my favorite items. So if you want to see said favorite items, then just keep on watching. Okay, so there's a lot of Wet n Wild in this, like a lot of Wet n Wild. They sent me 2 amazing PR packages, and like, I don't know, it was like one of those PR packages that you see like the big YouTubers get, and then I got one and I was like, it was so sweet of them. So thank you, Wet n Wild. This is not sponsored by Wet n Wild. This is just, these are the things that I love from those packages. So first I want to start off with the Photo Focus foundation stick. This is the first foundation stick that I have actually enjoyed, like genuinely enjoyed. This is just so easy for every day. I do prefer blending this out with a brush more. I think you get a little bit better of coverage. Specifically, I love these like Artiste style brushes. This is just from Moda. You can get these at Walmart. But I am in the shade Porcelain. It's a really good match for me. I gave this to my friend Amanda, like the other, like a color that didn't work for me. I gave it to her. She really loves it. It does cling to dry skin like the bittiest amount. So if you have crazy dry skin, maybe stay away from this, or try it with like super heavy moisturizer underneath. But it lasts all day. It's a solid medium coverage. I wouldn't say it's like a full-on full coverage, but it's a really beautiful medium coverage. And you can always, you know, tack on extra concealer if you want to go full coverage, but it's just nice every day, so easy, so user-friendly, and I really like it, which is surprising because y'all know how I felt about the Photo Focus foundation, the regular one. We just aren't gonna talk about that, but I love it. So I guess let's just stick with Wet n Wild. I also like, in the same kind of line, I'm just going to talk about the rest of the things that came out with that line, which was their Spring 2019 collection. They have their loose highlighting powders, which I have a different loose highlighting palette that was from, different loose highlighting powder that was from a different limited edition collection, and I love these. They are so shiny, so reflective. I spray a little bit of setting spray on my brush and pop it on, and it is, oh, it's so good. So my favorite from the newer collection is I'm So Lit. And then the other one, I don't remember what this one was from, but this guy in Moon Tears was like my favorite for so long, and I'm So Lit, actually they're very similar. They're just like gold toned highlights. I would say I'm So Lit is a little bit peachier and Moon Tears is a little bit more cool toned, but those are just so nice if you want like a beaming highlight you could see from outer space. And then another thing that I want to talk about is the new bronzer from Wet n Wild. I prefer this shade the most. It's called Sunset Striptease, and it looks like, especially compared to the other ones, this one looked very cool toned. I know it doesn't look the most cool toned right now, but it is such a nice shade for my skin tone. It is so easy. It's not too pigmented straight off of the bat, so you can build it up really nicely, and it's just like a really easy bronzer. That's pretty much just it. I just wanted to throw it in here because it's a really good, affordable, cruelty-free drugstore option if you're looking to mix up your bronzer game. They also have ones that are a lot sparklier, so if you prefer a sparkly option, there's a sparkly option, but this shade Sunset Striptease is one of my new favorite just go-to bronzers. It's so easy and effortless. I love it. One more thing from this collection. The primer waters. Who knew that I would like a primer? These are so good. I talked about a couple of these items in a recent Get Ready With Me, but I just want to shout them out one more time. These are so nice. I will say that the scents are a little strong, like the cucumber one is kind of strong on the artificial coconut smell, but I really like it still. The coconut, did I already say? Whatever I said, I meant cucumber. The cucumber one is strong on the cucumber smell. Anyways, I really prefer the coconut one. I will say I went through this pretty fast. It's like empty and I used it every single day for a couple weeks. So you're gonna have to re-up on this a decent amount of time if you use it every single day like how I do. I also use this to like wet my brushes for pigments or for loose highlighting powders or whatever. So I go through this a decent amount, but it is affordable. It's really, really nice. Like I said, the coconut smell is the most like mild smell, so that's the one I prefer. But these are just really nice and do a great job of hydrating, and it actually does make your makeup last a long time. Like, it's real good. I can't believe I'm putting a primer in my favorites video. I'm trying to like bust through these, so I'm sorry if I'm talking a million miles a minute, but I just have so much to talk about. Last thing from Wet n Wild, I promise, was from their newest collection, which is the Rebel Rose collection. These eyeshadows are so bomb, so good, so buttery, so creamy, so pigmented, and like if you like Dead Girl Glam, you need all of them. They are so good. They're just like all, this one's called Bed of Roses. This one is called Secret Garden Rendezvous. And this one is probably my favorite and is called House of Thorns. They're all so freaking good. They're so buttery and pigmented. I put up an Instagram makeup tutorial doing a full look using all of these, and y'all loved it, and I freaking loved it. Again, it is a Dead Girl emo glam dream. These reds are just so great. Yeah, guys, these, like, don't sleep on these. These ones are limited edition. Definitely pick them up if you see them in Walgreens or if you want to place an order on wetnwild.com website. They're really, really good. Definitely, like, I've really liked Wet n Wild eyeshadows recently. Like, their new color icons have, like, stepped it up, but this is, like, a step above the color icons. Like, they are so good. So good. Okay. Next thing I want to talk about is the e.l.f. Camo 16-hour Camo Concealer. Wow. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is the most shook I have ever been about an e.l.f. product ever. Hands down, ever. This is my favorite e.l.f. product, and I think the best e.l.f. has done on any makeup product. I shit you not, this is the best concealer at the drugstore. Oh my god. It is so pigmented and so creamy, so easy to blend. It is $5. I think there's 2 fair, 2 light, 2 medium, 2 deep, and 2 rich shades. So decent amount of everything. They could be expanded, but for the start of a line, I would say that's pretty solid. I have the shades Light Sand and Fair Warm. Light Sand is what I'm wearing no. Fair Warm is what I'm wearing right now when I really want to highlight. And then Light Sand is what I wear just every day, or like for spots. It's just a slightly lighter than my skin tone, but they're both decently yellow toned, which is what I prefer when I pick out my concealers. These are so good. They last all day. They are so pigment packed and so full coverage without being heavy or cakey or anything. I will say the only downfall is they don't make the best eyeshadow primer if you have oily eyelids. I still have to use an eyeshadow primer with these because if I just do concealer, if I wear my eyeshadow like all day, I do get creases. That is the only downfall of this concealer. It is so good. I cannot believe that e.l.f. came out with this. Like, no shade to e.l.f. You guys know, like, I love e.l.f. But like, this puts Shape Tape in the fucking dust. Like, it's so good. So I digress. I'm gonna stop talking about these, but like, the best concealer. I love it. Okay, another product from e.l.f. that I want to talk about. There's a lot of affordable things in here. I am stoked on that. Is the Hello Hydration Face Cream. Now, y'all know I did an empties video not too long ago, and I put my Drunk Elephant polypeptide $70 face cream in an empties because I had gone through it, and ya girl just can't physically get myself to spend the $70 to buy another jar of it, even though I eventually will because it is so good. So good. So, in the meantime, I saw this at Ulta and the reviews on e.l.f.'s website were pretty stellar, so I've been using it and it is so nice. It smells very fresh and very clean, and I use this at night, and I use it the same way that I did my Drunk Elephant moisturizer. I mix a couple drops of marula oil in with my moisturizer, and it is just so rich and creamy. It hasn't broken me out. In the morning my face looks nice and just like plump and moisturized. I think this was around $12, so really not bad. I've also heard a lot of other people talking about this, so I know I'm not the only one who really likes this, and I really like it. So that's what I have to say. Let us talk about nails for a second. So these are my nails right now. I tried to do that kind of like neon flame trend that's been going around. Now I need to do a fill, so don't judge me. But I wanted to, of course, shout out Madam Glam because I use pretty much all of their products, especially now that KL Polish is going out of business. I don't know what I'm gonna do when it comes to cruelty-free nail polishes other than Madam Glam. But Madam Glam did send me, I wish I was wearing it in this video because this was so pretty when I had it on. This is the Soak Off Cat Eye Gel Polish in the shade Carousel, and it's one of those where you put the magnet over it and it makes that. This cool tone pink is so freaking pretty. It seriously looks like marbles on your nails, like little kids marbles. It is such a pretty option if you want to do a nude or like a soft, easy to wear color, but you don't just, you want to have like a little something to it. The cat eye gels are so much fun. I've talked about them before on my channel. I did like a nail inspired makeup look from one of their like green cat eye gels, so I really enjoy them. And also the shade that I'm wearing on the tip of my nails is also a Madam Glam gel polish. This is in the shade Barbie Girl. So just want to shout those out. I also have a coupon code with them, so you can get 30% off any of their gels and their poly gel, which is how I build my nails. I've been building my nails a little bit differently, so I'm excited once I need a full new set. I'll film how I do my nails now, but I am going to film a fill soon, so how I do a fill, and I'll probably do like a polish change with like some nail art or something. So give me ideas for nail art and what I should do on my nails next. I'm thinking one of these strobe glitters would be really fun. But anyways, all the information for the coupon code and the link to Madam Glam will be in the description box if you want to shop, but y'all know, fuck with Madam Glam. Not sponsored. Okay, I kind of breezed through that, but we have some true crime shit to talk about. Well, okay, first, before we go into true crime, a favorite of mine this month has been tidying up with Marie Kondo. If you haven't, I know that she was all the rage, and like there were so many memes and like, oh, like just so many things, but like it was such a big deal for a reason. It is one, the most pure show. If you like the Great British Baking Show because it's just pure and easy to watch, you will love Tidying Up with Marie Kondo. And two, I have Marie Kondo'd my house, and it has brought me so much joy, like just keeping everything in their like organized spots and having a place for everything, and then taking 15 minutes every single day to maintain my space. I did like an Instagram story rant about this not very long ago, about how important it has been to me to clean up my space every day for like 15 minutes, which is something that your parents tell you all growing up and you never listen to them, and then you do it and you're like, wow, this is amazing. My anxiety has lessened. It makes me feel good about myself. It makes me take pride in myself and my stuff. Like I don't just have stuff just everywhere. It is my stuff that has a purpose and a place, and it all sparks joy. I haven't really needed to Marie Kondo my my like closet, because working retail for 7 years, I have learned how to only keep things that spark joy, but everything else like in my kitchen and in my bathroom and in just like the rest of my storage space, I have been using her method and it works. So I know a lot of people, I'm probably preaching to the choir, but I'm probably preaching to the choir with a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about in this section where I talk about like podcasts and movies and things. But I'm just here to be that last person to tell you, you need to watch it if you haven't. Going along with that, Broad City, how am I just now watching Broad City? Like, it was one of those things where a lot of my friends would tell me to watch Broad City, and they'd be like, Katie, like, you of all people need to watch Broad City. And now I get it. I relate, like, especially Amanda and I, we relate so much to Abby and Alana. I love it. The episode where Alana can't come is the most iconic episode, and they're so funny. They're so fucking vulgar and hilarious. I've always said it's like boy humor for girls, but they also talk about such real shit. Like Alana talks about like how she doesn't want to up her depression medication, and then at the end she's like, just like, you know what? Fuck that social stigma. I need help, so I'm gonna fucking up my depression medication. Like, they just talk about, like, Alana's super French. She's like, yeah, I have HPV. Like, fucking everybody has HPV. They just talk about such real things and normalize things that should be normalized, like masturbation. It's just such a fucking good show. It's on Hulu. There are 4 seasons on Hulu. You will breeze through all of them. Again, I'm probably preaching to the choir, but if you haven't watched Broad City, do it. It is so good and funny. Like I said, I will say it's a lot of the times, like, immature, ridiculous humor, but it's so funny and so good. So watch it. Again, if I need to be the last person to tell you, I'll fucking do it. I'll do it. Watch it. What was the last one? Okay, so that's it for shows, but I do have an audiobook and a podcast that I have recently gotten into. I've talked about it a couple times on here. The podcast that I've recently gotten into is And That's Why We Drink. Again, a lot of y'all have probably heard of them, especially if you're into My Favorite Murder and Last Podcast on the Left, things like that. They are so great. I started listening to them, I think, in like November, and then they announced their spring tour, winter tour, and then I saw them in Vancouver, and they were so freaking funny. So one person talks about a true crime story, and one person talks about a paranormal story. I will say, the person who tells the paranormal stories, they go first, and I will say that some of their like stories literally scare me to the point where I have to skip the episode or skip ahead to Christine's part, the true crime part. And I will say that they, like, M's stories take up usually a way bigger chunk of the podcast, and then Christine's stories are usually shorter. So I would say it leans more heavily on the paranormal than the true crime, but Em and Christine are so funny, so freaking great. They're just like easy people to just hang out with in your ears, and if you need a new podcast recommendation, I would absolutely recommend And That's Why We Drink. But if you're very, very, very sensitive, sometimes hearing about paranormal things, I'm such a hypochondriac, it like boosts my anxiety. So like I said, I always read the description first, and then I'm like, all right, can I handle this? Like, there's a couple doll episodes, and there's a couple episodes about like some of the most haunted shit ever that I cannot listen to. But Em does a really good job about finding some like weird ones too, and they also do a lot of like cryptids and just like creepy stories, so love it. Last thing I have to talk about is, oh my god, what's it called? Hey Google, what's the name of the book about how they caught the Golden State Killer?
Sorry, I don't understand.
Okay, and then the last thing that I have to talk about is Evil Has a Name. Holy God, that book I went through so fast. It's an Audible original, so I believe it's only exclusive to Audible, and it is about how they found the Golden State Killer, which is a case I wasn't really familiar with. I'm very new into the true crime world as of like a year and a half ago, and the Golden State Killer, you know, living in Washington, I hadn't really like heard of him, and I just wasn't super familiar with the case. But of course, as they caught him last year, like, I was listening to My Favorite Murder, and everybody was just freaking out about how they caught the Golden State Killer. So then I listened to the book I'll Be Gone in the Dark by Michelle McNamara. One of my favorite books, one of my favorite true crime books in the world. It is so fantastic, and she just kind of talks about like the story and like the Golden State Killer and how they're trying to find him, and it was like such a huge cold case. And then Evil Has a Name is narrated by Paul Holes and a bunch of the actual investigators and victims and people involved with the case, about how they caught him, which is so cool. It's a really quick listen or read, depending on what you're doing. It's really quick, but it's so cool. I will say it's like a little dramatic, like there's a lot of dramatic music in the background, and there's a lot of like, when he talks about like a car unlocking, you hear like a car beep, which like it wasn't my favorite part of it, but it adds to the theatric. I guess it's not dramatic, it's like theatrical. So there's like that, which I wasn't a big fan of, but the content is A+. It is so freaking cool. So if you've been following the Golden State Killer case, or if you want to know about the Golden State Killer case, first, before you listen to Evil Has a Name, listen to I'll Be Gone in the Dark or read I'll Be Gone in the Dark. It is so good, and then listen to Evil Has a Name. It's just so nice because Michelle McNamara dedicated so much of her life to finding him, and then they found him and there's like justice served. It is so great. Anyways, y'all, I felt like I did not breathe for 20 minutes. I was talking so quickly and so much, but I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of updated favorites video. I'm gonna try to do these a little bit more. I was so good about it and then it just freaking tanked. But I appreciate you guys so much for sticking around with me. I love you guys so, so, so much. Please let me know your favorite podcasts or audiobooks down below. Your girl is always hunting for more. And please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this. It helps me out so much since YouTube has fucked over smaller YouTubers. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!